Hello and welcome to VOS Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. On the show this week, we visit an exhibit by Cameroonian artist Shiri Achu. Her art highlights African fashion and culture. Afrobeat star Victony on his US tour. We chat with him right after a sold-out performance. Plus, we have an interview with Tamira Tola, who recently won an Olympic gold medal at the 2024 Olympics. Let's get on with the show. Afrobeat's rising star Victony, currently on his North American tour, made a stop in Washington, D.C. The tour is codenamed the Stubborn Tour after his latest album. The Nigerian singer-songwriter has been recognized for his innovative cross-genre musical style. I caught up with him right after his thrilling performance to get his reaction. So Victony,
Yeah,
tell us about your experience here in Washington, D.C., your first concert in Washington, D.C. How you feel?
that was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this though. I mean, I expected to have a good time, but I was surprised. Stepping on stage, the crowd was crazy. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate all the energy. This is a start. This is the start of something great right now. I'm so excited for the future.
Big news for racing fans on the continent. Rwanda is in discussions to potentially host Africa's first Formula One race since the 1993 South African Grand Prix. Formula One president and CEO Stefano Domenicali revealed in an interview with motorsport.com that Rwanda is serious about its bid to host the iconic motor racing sport. The news was confirmed by Christian Gakwaya, president of the Rwanda Automobile Club, saying that his country was committed and prepared to host a Formula One race. Carnegie Hall's National Youth Jazz Orchestra has had sold-out performances on its Fast African tour. Known as NYO Jazz, the 22-person ensemble had shows in South Africa's major cities. Vicky Stark caught up with them in Cape Town.
After performances in Johannesburg and Durban, Carnegie Hall's National Youth Jazz Orchestra performed their last shows at Cape Town's Artscape Theatre. The tour was originally scheduled for 2020 but was postponed due to COVID. Since 2018, Carnegie's Wheel Music Institute has annually invited the best teen jazz musicians from across the United States to audition for the orchestra. They perform at the world-famous Carnegie Hall in New York before embarking on an international tour.
We have been twice to Europe, different countries within the European Union. We have also been to China and Taiwan on an Asian tour in Hong Kong. And we have also done a US tour. This is, of course, our first tour to South Africa.
Massey says they also recruit local talent to perform with them.
So there are a number of organizations, including here in South Africa, the South African Jazz Education Association, that have worked with us and been wonderful partners in helping us find young people.
South African trumpeter Munib Herman says he was initially approached by someone in his home country.
I just got an email a couple of months later, straight from Carnegie, from Joanne, asking if I'd be interested in playing with the band, and I was like, yes.
Hermans was thrilled to meet NYO Jazz's celebrated artistic director, band leader and fellow trumpeter Sean Jones, whose career he has followed. Hermans, who studied music at university and now travels extensively, believes the genre of jazz is growing in popularity.
I just came from a trip now in Canada, and I went to so many jazz clubs, and the music is alive, and the beauty of it is it's all young people.
NYO jazz trombonist from Houston, Texas, Vishesh Padal, has some advice for aspiring jazz musicians.
This is sort of the renaissance of this genre because we have more and more people from around the world spilling in their own life experiences and cultures into the music. So I would say not only look back at tradition, but find ways to include your voice into your playing, because there are endless possibilities.
South African music lovers were appreciative of the talent, and many say they look forward to NYO Jazz returning.
Cameroonian visual artist Shiri Achu uses several mediums including oils, acrylics, watercolor, and mixed media to capture the spirit of her subjects, from natural moments captured in Africa to still objects. I visited Shiri at the exhibit titled 45 in Print. It is the 10th anniversary of her in-print series, which promotes African lifestyle and culture. Let's check it out. Shiri Achu's current exhibit at the Venn Gallery is full of colorful and vibrant mixed media art using acrylics, oils, and watercolor. It's the kind you have to visit twice to get the full picture. On opening day, she shows us around, explaining some of the paintings she chose for the exhibit.
Now, I'll tell you, my work depicts African culture, beautiful, beautiful African culture, everyday life, food, beautiful women, the textures, the colors. Don't know if I can take you around and show you a few of my pieces. Children, dance and movement. Yes, like I mentioned earlier, we have here food, everyday life. This meal here, let me just take you to this. This meal here is called achu. Achu is a rare and beautiful delicacy in Cameroon. It's an acquired taste, amazing. Everyone's been asking me about, how this tastes. So actually I'm having an event next Thursday here in the Vern, so people can actually try this meal. I use acrylic and I use texture. I like using fabrics because I find fabrics very beautiful. So yes, I use mixed media as well as acrylics paints.
When did you start painting?
I was painting when I was 9 years old. That's when I started, but I knew that I had to paint. I loved the idea of, being creative. I've recently, dwelled into doing fabrics and other things as well. I just love being creative, and I started when I was 9. The language, the message, what I'm trying to portray has always been the same, about trying to showcase African culture. I know that I've always wanted to travel to every part of Africa. If I am able to in my lifetime, I want to travel to all the African countries and pick up one key thing from the city and then come back, paint them, and then showcase to the world. So that's always been my message. There is a beauty in Cameroon, of course, and I portray that a lot in my work, but I find beauty in things in Kenya, the north, the south. There's so much beauty in the whole of Africa that, as I'm traveling, I gather inspiration from each city. I come back, I paint them, and then every year I take it to a new city and then expose it. And I get so much joy when someone in Australia, for example, buys the Bafouchu piece, and they hang it up in their house, and then they have to explain to people, this is Bafouchu people. These are people from Cameroon, the northwest region. So they're educating people about Africa through my work, which is what brings me the most joy. This is mixed media. This is actually this is Z-Flower. This is my little girl. Her name is Zahara, so she's Z-Flower. I love the joyness. She's a dancer, and she's got a very free spirit. And contrary to her is this guy. He's my son. It's called the Zen because he's also got a very peaceful, very like the title suggests. It's Zen, and his name is Zenith. So these are my two little people.
Let's talk about your fashion show that is upcoming and the print that you're creating.
Yes. So last year I embarked on a project which is Long Live the Art of Service. And I use certain colors to hone in the message to many people. Now, with that, I have now created a fabric which has symbols from the north, the east, the south, the west, and Central Africa. And I'll be having that fashion show, I'll be having my debut fashion show on the 7th of September.
So you're moving from art to fashion?
No, I am not moving. I am still always going to be an artist. It's just, it's an extra element to my artistry, let's call it that.
Flying cars along the dream of futurists may finally be here. From California, Matt Debo has our story about the rise of electric aircraft.
Spectators gathered in Sausalito, California recently to watch an unusual flight. The Helix, made by Silicon Valley company Pivotal, is among the first electric aircraft to take flight in what some are calling a new era of aerial mobility. Aircraft that can take off vertically without a runway and then fly like a plane have been anticipated for decades. Advances in engine technology and lightweight materials have helped bring about this moment, says Pivotal's CEO Ken Karkland.
The biggest driver of all, though, is actually the energy storage. And so the batteries, the energy storage of the batteries are getting better and better every couple of years, driven by the mass adoption of electric vehicles we're seeing on the road today.
The Helix will appeal most to those who love to fly and who can afford a $200,000 personal aircraft that is currently limited by battery storage to 20 minutes of flying time. More people are likely to have their first electric aircraft experience in an air taxi, like Archer Aviation's Midnight.
It's a one pilot, 4 passengers, 100 miles of range. Travels 150 miles an hour, it's sustainable, it's quieter than a helicopter, it's got 12 propellers. If any one of those propellers fails, it has the technology to be able to still make a safe landing.
The aircraft is undergoing government safety testing, but if all goes as planned, the company says they will be flying customers by the end of 2025.
What you see here is a mock-up of what a vertiport is like.
Archer has plans to operate air taxi services in several U.S. cities, including the San Francisco Bay Area, where air taxis would fly between existing airports and a new vertiport on the bay. The company projects that passengers will pay a fare comparable to a rideshare trip to the same location.
Going from city center to airport that costs $150 with rideshare can be $150